Hey, it's a JAT Drive. People say JAT's around. I don't know. It's the Monkees theme song. Remember the Monkees? Of course you don't, because I'm probably much older than most of you that are watching these. Although, hey, first off, welcome to a JAT Drive. I do see that a lot of people my age watch the JAT Drives, and I appreciate that. A lot of you folks out there liked the last one, a few of my favorite things. Now, I don't know if that'll be the last one. There'll be other ones that come out because I've recorded a bunch of these. And boy, there's a lot of traffic here. Somebody opened the gate. You ever hear that? Who opened the gate? When I was a kid, that was very funny to me. When there was traffic going along and somebody, the driver would say, "Who opened the gate?" It's like just stupid, but you know when you're a kid and things strike you funny? So I still say it now. So like when my daughter's in the car, I go, "Oh, who opened the gate?" I'm that guy. I'm the dad guy that says dumb things while he's driving. Welcome to JAT Drive. Yes, many of you are around my age, which I find lovely, and I thank you for that. Been getting lots. So the last one that came out was a few of my favorite things. Now here's the thing that's embarrassing. I'm wearing the same outfit basically, although I have different glasses on. But it was laundry day, and this is like, I like this sweater, and I'm going out to see I'm going to a play tonight to see my good friend Bruce Ladd in a play, A Man for All Seasons, at the Actors Co-op that my good friend Tom Babis directed. And I'm taking the lovely Catherine Tabor out to the play. We're going to see a few actors because we are interested in them for some parts in the movie that we're making. Oh, see, that's all I'm giving you though. Now, some of you may know, because again, a lot of JAT Drives have happened in between, but I wrote a script for a project that Catherine Tabor and I are going to be working on, and hopefully shooting this summer. And so that's what we're doing tonight. We're going to watch the play. We're going as producers of a film and looking to see if anybody is good enough to be in our film. Yes. That was like if Obi-Wan Kenobi and Stewie from Family Guy got together. That's what they would sound like. I don't know what that was. Anyways, thanks everybody for sending in your ideas and questions about JAT Drives. Lots of them, and I was looking. Of course, I can't really look at them while I'm driving, you see, because that wouldn't be safe. But I saw one that I got. One fellow, Peter Withrow, I hope I'm saying your name right. Peter sent me one with like 11 different questions. But he had some good questions about voiceover and stuff. So one of them is how the industry is changing and the changes in the voiceover industry and all of that. And I thought I would talk about that today on this JAT Drive because it is fascinating. Due to this, and I'm pointing at my little GoPro here, and all this technology and smartphones and computers, over the last 15 years, the change has been so dramatic to the world of entertainment and the way things are done and put together. Some things are fantastic because now we can do things that we never could have done before as easily. To give you an example, back 18 years ago, I made a movie, a mockumentary called The Comedy Team of Pete and James, which is based on my stand-up act that I used to do with an old writing partner of mine named Pete. And there's a little like 6-minute version of it on my YouTube channel. I may put the whole film up at some point. I just should. But we made that back in 2000 and 2001. It took like 18 months to shoot. And we shot it on like prosumer grade video cameras that took the little mini DV tapes. And myself and Larry Morgan, very talented voice actor and performer, writer, director. He has a podcast I've been on, and you can see that even on my YouTube channel, Snark Monkey. And Larry is a DJ, very talented DJ out in Los Angeles, and one of my dearest friends. I know you go, James, you say everybody's your dearest friend. People that are dear to me are my dear friends. Okay, you're all dear to me, so look at that. Okay, anyways, so Larry Morgan and I made this movie, The Comedy Team of Pete and James, 18 years ago, essentially. And technology, so we had like the old iMacs. You remember the first iMac computers, the big bubble thing? I had the silver one. I didn't get the color. I got the special edition silver one, which was like $2,000, and it had iMovie on it, and that was amazing because then you could actually, edit things. It was the first iMovie, and I had a little mini DV camera, and we shot all this stuff on these Canon, like I say, these kind of prosumer. What do I mean by that? There's consumer brand and there's professional brand things, and then there's stuff that they call kind of prosumer, which is, it's not really totally professional, but it's not just like a consumer like Handycam. And so we had these cameras. I can't even remember which ones they were, but they were these Canon ones. I can't remember that, the number or the name of it, the XR5 or what, But so Larry and I shot this film, and we shot it all these scenes, and it was a mockumentary, kind of like Best in Show, the Christopher Guest type stuff about me as a stand-up. And we shot it, and then I would edit. So Larry would edit the scenes, and then he would send them to me, and then I'd edit them a little, and then send them back, and then he'd edit a little. And then at the finish, I would go into Pro Tools, and I would, actually, you know what? No. You couldn't run Pro Tools on an iMac back then. I was not running Pro Tools then. I was running all on a VS880, Roland VS880, so I wasn't even editing by like waveforms back then. I could, because I was working on Pro Tools and Sonic Solutions at the works that I worked, but in my home studio, I had a VS880. Look at that, that's how long ago. And I would remaster all the sound and clean it up and, do all that, and then we'd sync it back up to picture, and that's how so that was like cutting edge back then, 18 years ago. You go, well, 18 years ago was a long time ago. Yeah, but then what happened? Things just started changing and changing and changing, and then in the last 5 to 8 years, really, since the iPhone's been out 10 years now. So yeah, since the iPhone, the evolution of the iPhone, things have changed so much, and it's so easy to do things now. You're going, James, he asked about voiceover industry. Stick with me. All of it has made the big difference. The internet, YouTube. I mean, I remember, 10 years ago, I was putting little tiny videos on YouTube that were just like not much of anything. So in the last 10 years especially, the change of technology has made it a huge change to the voiceover industry. Why? Why, James? Well, because anybody can be a voice actor now. And you've heard me say it on my vlogs here before, but it really is true. Voices.com, Voice123, all of them, they, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. Why? Well, because when I started as a voice actor and started doing voices 31 years ago, it was a small group of people. You go, oh, so you just want it to be small? No, I don't mind it getting bigger. What I do mind is if it's bigger and everybody loves and appreciates and does voiceover for the craft of it, great, it's fine. There's enough work for everybody. If everybody's doing it because they can and they think it's a good side job to make some extra money, and they're not really into it, but they kind of think, well, whatever, I'll make $100, then that's bad. And that's what's happened more often than not, is you have a lot of people that don't care about the craft of voiceover getting too involved. But it's not just voiceover. It's commercial production. It's all of that has changed the landscape. There's a great documentary. I'm trying to remember the name of it because it's not Ready Player One. Obviously, that's a movie that's about to come out and all. But it's like record, pause, play, or something like that. It's a documentary I watched a few years ago about this whole shift in culture, about how the arts are being affected by all this technology being so readily available by everybody and watering down the whole of art and entertainment. And how do you feel about that? On one hand, as a performer, I'm delighted by it because it makes it so much easier. Case in point, I'm talking to you from a camera that is like 2.5 inches by 1.5 inches big and a 1/2 inch thick on a little tiny card that is digital HD quality, better quality than shows that you see on television from the 80s and 90s and such. So the quality of this is brilliant with a little lav mic I have here, and I have my own little show on my own little channel. I think it's wonderful. But then at the same time, anybody can do it. So the market gets watered down by all this stuff. I mean, the fact that you 35,000 plus people have found my channel, and maybe, I don't know, 2,000 of you actually watch the content on a regular basis, that's remarkable. It's fantastic. And I'm so grateful for it. But it also does create, why is it watered down? Because there's so much out there, which is wonderful on one hand and terrible on another hand if you're an artist that makes the stuff. If you're somebody that makes content, it's kind of a bummer because you go, it's like Clone Wars Conversations. All of you that watch Clone Wars Conversations go, wow, this is such a great show. Why isn't it on someplace else, or why isn't it getting more views and all of that? Because it's a polished, it's a 3-4 camera setup. I shoot it all professionally. I do it all myself. It's as good as anything you'd see quality-wise on television. And that's because I have the ability to do that for very little money now because of digital technology, the technology. But on the other hand, nobody sees it because there's so much out there already clogging up the market space. So, it's changed the industry. It's made it harder for voice actors to stand out. It's made it harder for us to continue to just work and do the work that we do. Why? Because there's other people that will undercut you. Say, I can sound like James Arnold Taylor for $50. Why not? Or I can sound like Jim Cummings, or I can sound like Rob Paulson or whomever, So that affects the market. That affects the people that you all love, that you go, and you say this wonderful, oh, you were my childhood. I grew up listening and hearing it. It's like, we do this because we really, really, really love it. And we love doing it. And I want there to be space for the people that are young and coming up that watch this channel and other things and watch Rob Paulson's Talking Tunes and stuff that really, really, really love it. All of you that are really passionate about voiceover and that really want to do it, it's harder for you to get through now because of all the stuff that's going on. So that bothers me, not just for me. So I don't want people thinking, oh, he's just upset because it's like there's not enough work for him. No, I'm upset because it makes it harder for people that actually, if I was a young kid trying to get into voiceover now, it would be so much harder than when I was younger. Why? Because the market is so watered down with so many people and so many ways of getting your voice out there and doing stuff. On one hand, it's great. On the other hand, it's not. So, but all that said, it's always been like that, There's always been a technology that is newer and stuff. I mean, even when I was a kid and we were recording on cassette tapes and stuff, there's going to be new people and new technologies, and the new people understand the newer technologies better than the old people do. And so there's always this learning curve. So you always try to stay up with all of it. So that's, I'm very digitally inclined. I love editing. I love putting stuff together. So I stick with it. So that's the next part of that whole thing of you don't just complain about something, but it is okay to kind of say, oh, it makes it harder. That's not, you're just expressing yourself there. But then what are you going to do about it? You have to learn it. So, people like myself and my good friend, my dear friend, Tom Wilson, who both of us talk about this because we both have embraced the technology. We both love it. Tom's a great photographer. He was a great photographer before digital cameras and knew about, film cameras and stuff. And now he knows about digital cameras, and he shoots great stuff. And he thinks about his shots. And so it all rises above, I think, when you watch something from somebody like Tom Wilson, where you go, oh, look at the quality that he's putting out. Hopefully you say that when you look at my stuff. Look at the quality he's putting out. Look at the quality that, other people are putting out. That it's because they get it, because they're entertainers and they've been doing this a long time. And they've stuck with it and they've learned it. So that's what I would say to all of you that are trying to get into it and learn everything you can about technology. Learn everything you can about your craft, whatever parts of it, but then also the parts that surround it, okay? Most voice actors don't know how to work Pro Tools and Premiere Pro and cut stuff and do all of that and do lighting and sound and video and stuff because they're like, oh, I'm a voice actor, I'm an actor. Really, they think of themselves as an actor because that's all we are, is we're actors. And so it benefits you to learn all this stuff. Why? Well, because then you can go and you can do all this like I'm doing here. What does this do? By me putting all this stuff out, having the YouTube channel, it makes me more known to people that may not know me normally. You know, people that may go, oh yeah, I grew up watching Johnny Test and Clone Wars, but yeah, and I see his name on the credits, but I don't really know who that guy is. But then you have this channel and it's like, oh yeah, now I watch him on his channel, and I learn about voiceover, and I learn about who he is, and he's kind of a goofy guy, and he's funny, hopefully, and you know, and it's fun taking these drives with him. So, you know, that's because I want to stay up with all of it, but also because why? I'm passionate about it. I love it. I love entertaining. I love entertaining all of you. I love talking to you about it all. So there is a big change in the industry. To answer Peter's question, yes, big change in the industry right now. It will be I'm very curious. It'll be very interesting to see where voiceover goes in the next 5 to 10 years. Unfortunately, I think it will change, not in a good way. For people like myself that have been professional voice actors that, you know, have made a certain living and expect to make that certain living, you have to branch out. You have to do other things. So I'm writing movies. I'm making vlogs. I'm, you know, producing. I have my one-man show. I go to cons. You know, all these various ways to try and keep up, because the living is not the same as it was 15 years ago, sadly. And that's across the board, though. It's not just for me. It's for everybody. So, you know, you have to shift. And this big, pardon me while I drink water, this big movement of getting everybody the opportunity to be a voice actor does affect things. So just know that that's what you're kind of up against. Gonna change lanes. So I hope that answers that question. Another question he asked on the same email was if I plan on retiring in the next 5 years or anything. Well, I'm not that old, so. No, I don't plan on retiring anytime soon. Of course, the beautiful thing about voiceover is you could do it until your dying day. I mean, you know, and many of the greats have. Why? Because it's your voice. And as long as you can talk, and as long as you can read stuff and enjoy doing it, no matter where your voice goes, I'll be curious to see, you know, if I listen to audio of my voice from when I was younger, it was up higher. And it was, you know, it's just so like any of you, if you listen to your voice, now I have the ability to kind of manipulate it and make it sound the same. And, you know, so when I was talking, when I was younger, you might have heard my voice and it would sound like this. But now as I get older, it gets bassier and, you know, resonance and stuff. That's just with age as the body gets older. So it'll be interesting to hear how it drops lower as I get older and, you know, it gets a little more raspy or what have you, and how I'll sound as an old man and what voices I'll still be able to do. I was watching a great interview with Mel Blanc on David Letterman on YouTube the other day. It popped up, and I've seen it many times before, but it's always fun to watch it. He was so brilliant. It was when he was pretty old at this point, and wow, a guy just totally cut me off in front of me. And his voice had so much resonance to it, but he would still be able to, yeah, what's up, Doc? He would still be able to do that, you know, and all the voices, and they just came out of him like butter, smooth as silk. It was beautiful. So I hope to be like that. You know, Mel Torme, the great singer, jazz singer, Mel Torme, never drank, never smoked, and he had a voice, forget your troubles, come on, get happy. And he had this wonderful, silky, just amazing voice. He was an amazing singer. And his voice was pretty much the same until his dying day. You know, another person I've realized whose voice sounds as young as ever is Billy D. Williams, my dear friend Billy D. Williams. He can still sound just like a kid. You know, he's got the ability to, and his voice is clear and clean and present. And you know, it's just as you get older, your voice changes. But his voice has stayed really awesome, and I love it. I love hearing him talk. He's just got such a great voice, and that's not to say that he's getting older or anything. We're all getting older. I don't mean it like that, but Anthony Daniels as well. His voice is, you know, all my friends in the world of Star Wars. Mark Hamill, you know, Mark's voice has changed a bit, but he's also a voice master. I mean, he is a master of sounds and tones and things. And as you get older, you start to, like, you know, tune into the ones that, oh, I like the bigger, deeper, gravelly So you start doing that more. Anyways, fascinating stuff. I hope you enjoy the JAT channel. Hope you check out other stuff. There is more to come. I know I keep saying that, but I'm really busy working on this film project right now. So the JAT drives have been the easiest thing to put out there. Hey, if you have questions and comments and things that you want me to do on a JAT drive, send them to jamesarnoldtaylor.com. Go to jamesarnoldtaylor.com, click on the JAT show link and that page and choose a topic in the drop down. And you can just, click JAT. I don't think I have JAT Drive on there. I don't know if I do. If I don't, I'll put it on. But you can just hit vlog or whatever as the topic, and I'll know what it is. And send me your questions and comments and all of that. And I thank you all for joining me on this JAT Drive. All right. See ya.